Hey one, hey all, welcome to Friday, and that means it's countdown day. Last week we looked at the top 10 Headmasters characters in Transformers. Today we're going to be counting down the Targetmasters. That's right, we're going to be looking at, as voted on by everybody across social media, the top 10 Targetmasters in the latest GotBot Counts Down. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light 'em up, baby. And hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers, Collectors, NL, the Autobot family, Transformers versus G.I. Joe versus DC Universe versus Marvel, and all of my social media links, they are down in the description below. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. Become part of the team, baby. Now, a couple of things just to get out of the way here. I made this vote as open, as wide open as it could be. Basically, any Targetmaster or Battlemaster counts. Anyone who has been used as a Targetmaster or Battlemaster counts. So it was wide open. It was really interesting how some of the votes went. A couple of them really sort of surprised me. As it stands, we usually do the question on Monday, and well, we don't usually. We always do the question on Monday. We do the vote until midnight Wednesday. We do the countdown, the list, right now on Friday. I'm thinking about changing that workflow now that the world is starting to get back to normal and I'm getting back to work. I may change when the question goes up, and we may start doing these somewhat in the near future on a different day of the week, maybe Monday or Tuesday, possibly. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? But it's something that I'm toying with. I'm still trying to work out a workflow. So we'll see what happens going ahead. Honorable mentions. We're going to kick things off with that first, and there are a few of them. Of course, these are ones that got votes, but not enough to get on the list. And there were a lot of interesting ones that only got like 1 or 2 votes. But our honorable mentions include, first and foremost, Megatron himself, because in essence, Megatron is technically a Targetmaster. He would, in G1, certainly, transform into a gun and be used by whoever, Starscream or Soundwave or Thundercracker or Optimus Prime, I think even did it once. So he has served in that capacity. He got enough votes to be on the honorable mentions, as well as Taraxodon, who I think turns into an axe, one of the new characters, a Battlemaster, kind of cool, sort of a dinosaur, sort of an axe, dig it. Got enough votes to get an honorable mention, as well as Sure Shot, and I don't remember Sure Shot's partner's name. If somebody remembers it, put it in the comments. I should know it. I know. I feel bad for not knowing it. I would love to have an update of both of them. Again, got a few votes, not enough to get on the main list. Blur and Haywire came in as an honorable mention, as did Cup and Recoil. All of those, and recently I did a custom Haywire to go with Blur and a custom Recoil to go with Cup. So all of those honorable mentions, none of them made the main list. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to kick things off with number 10 first. And coming in at number 10 is a binary bonded duo that actually gets along rather well because both of them put up a facade. Talking about Slugslinger and Caliburst. Caliburst generally was an actor who felt like he was unappreciated. He presents himself with a lot of bravado, even though he's not really as brave as he projects, but he's good at putting on a show because he was an actor. As for Slugslinger, Slugslinger talks a big talk, a tough game if he's able to shoot at someone from a distance, but up close or without Caliburst in hand, it becomes a lot weaker. Nevertheless, they are one of the classic Decepticon duos. Though this guy probably shouldn't have been in these colors when he was released in the Siege line. Nevertheless, I'm glad to have him. I'm glad to have the duo finally together. Anyway you cut it, most people know that one of the main Decepticon Targetmasters was Slugslinger, appeared both in the Rebirth and appeared in the Japanese fiction Headmasters, I think, as did Caliburst. And for that reason, for his familiarity to the fandom, he takes the number 10 slot. Now as we move into number 9, I suppose I should make a slight addendum to number 10, because I said he takes the number 10 slot. In essence, I suppose I should have said they take the number 10 slot. But number 9 is actually a singular character. It doesn't really have a partner. It's a new character, one that really doesn't have any fiction. It is a Battlemaster rather than a Targetmaster. But it's one that has absolutely taken the fandom by storm. I'm talking about Slitherfang. Neither Decepticon nor Autobot. Slitherfang actually slithers his way onto this list as the first entry for the Quintesson forces. And while he doesn't turn into an actual blaster or melee thing, he turns into a piece of floorboard. Nevertheless, he falls in the category of Battlemaster, therefore / Targetmaster, and because he's garnered such a huge following, he took the number 9 slot quite convincingly. Number 8 is another one of these new Battlemaster characters. Not a Targetmaster, this one's a Battlemaster, but again has sort of taken the fandom by storm, myself included, because I absolutely love the hammer, known as Smashdown. I love the fact that he's like a bull. I think the hammer is cool, and I'm not a melee type of guy. I love the blast effect that comes with him. Again, the fiction is like next to nothing at this point, but I would love to see characters like Slitherfang and this guy get more pronounced fiction going forward. Maybe that will happen. I think it's a very creative way to do basically Targetmasters without them all having to be blasters. Sort of like Taraxodon, same sort of thing in Axe, right? So I love this, but again, because of the following, very quickly, through Earthrise and Siege that this guy has garnered, he managed to snag enough votes to solidify himself in the number 8 slot. Number 7 kind of takes us back to a G1 classic duo, even though the actual Targetmaster here has been bonded to a couple of characters. I'm talking about Cyclonus and Nightstick, but Nightstick has also been the name of the partner of Artfire. As well as a couple of others. It's a lot of confusion over Nightstick's name. There's even confusion between Nightstick and Fracas, who, of course, would go linked with Scourge. Nevertheless, most people, when they think of Nightstick, they think of Cyclonus. And when they think of Cyclonus, they think of Nightstick, which is kind of funny because they were a duo that I would have liked to have seen more of their interaction developed throughout a proper Season 4. In essence, what we had was the very honorable and loyal Cyclonus and the very despicable, dishonorable, and criminal Nightstick, who had to get along. Luckily, the kind of strength of character of Cyclonus was kind of able to keep Nightstick in line, even if Nightstick didn't like it. One of the first of the Targetmaster partners, and when it comes to updates in the modern era, one of the first, if not the first, update that we got. For that reason, he takes the number, or they take, the number 7 slot. Now, number 6 is a duo that gets along quite well because both of them are very detail-oriented, businesslike, and meticulous. I'm talking about Crosshairs and his partner Pinpointer. Granted, it's presented here as Crosshairs with Trenchfoot, but I use Trenchfoot as my version of Pinpointer. I know Pinpointer came with the whole Netflix Megatron thing. I think it was the Netflix Megatron that he came with. Nothing from the Netflix series released around here. Haven't seen anything first nor last, and I don't think I would be picking up the Megatron just to get Pinpointer. I'm kind of cool with this guy representing him. Nevertheless, this is the only real update we've got of the Autobot Targetmasters, and I kind of dig him, and I sort of dig, as imperfect as he might be, because he should have those big tires on his shoulders, but I like it. I think this works fine for Crosshairs. I see it and I think, yeah, that's Crosshairs, and I'm okay with Trenchfoot standing in his Pinpointer. For me, that's who he's going to be. I absolutely love this, and the guys get along well, I get along well with them, and because they got the votes they did and the support they did, they solidified themselves at the number 6 slot. And here now, at the halfway mark, we embark on the only a double Targetmaster to make the countdown. I'm talking, of course, about Spinister with Singe and Hair Splitter. Oh no, there, I gotta tighten that up. Singe is really somebody who is more fanciful. He kind of got into the whole Transformers war because of love. He lost his love to Galen. Galen, by the way, had a vote. And when his rival joined the Autobots, he decided, hey, I'm going to join the Decepticons. And he got paired with the awfully mysterious and sinister Spinister. Again, he's a little too melancholy for Spinister's taste. Spinister is more methodical. But then we have Hair Splitter. And Hair Splitter is more of a bureaucratic suck-up. He's not as emotional as Singe. So Singe and Hair Splitter don't get along too well. And Spinister kind of detests both of them. Nevertheless, when they're together, though, they are a formidable arsenal, and that is what bonds them, and that is what gives them the support to get enough votes to solidify themselves at the number 5 slot. Slotting in at number 4, we have Hot Rod and Firebolt. Firebolt, of course, a physicist, very intelligent, but he wanted to have more adventure, more action in his life, and you know who can give him that? Hot Rod, because if there's one thing that Hot Rod likes to do, it's live dangerously, man. Great duo, great pairing. How well they got along, I really don't remember. I feel like they got along all right, you know. I feel like that Firebolt kind of looked up to Hot Rod, and, you know, that kind of fed right into Hot Rod's ego pretty well. They got along well, they're a classic duo, they scored a ton of votes, and for that reason they take the number 4 slot, and that only leaves us with the top 3. At number 3, I don't have any representation of this classic duo. It is one of the Autobot duos. It is Point Blank and Peacemaker. Point Blank, somewhat quiet, somewhat melancholy, doesn't like the fact that there's war, wish that there wasn't, and wish he didn't have to fight. Peacemaker tries to kind of be a little more upbeat and kind of bring his partner up. Sometimes it succeeds, sometimes it doesn't. We didn't see enough of their relationship develop in the Rebirth. It was developed a little bit more in Japan, and I think it's been developed some more in the comics. Nevertheless, it is a perfect example of one of the Autobot Targetmasters that really needs an update and really needs to be fleshed out a bit more. In fact, that entire duo needs to be fleshed out a bit more. Nevertheless, this goes to show that fans remember that duo very fondly because they definitely scored enough votes to easily take the number 3 slot. And at number 2, we have the bungling duo from the Decepticons of Misfire and Aimless. Look, here's the thing. It doesn't matter if these guys get along or not. Here, the bottom line is that you don't want to be in their vicinity when things go awry because they're probably going to have just as much of a chance of blasting their own partners as they do of blasting their enemies. Not the most skilled, not the smartest, kind of brave to the point of being moronic. This duo belongs together, but they might not necessarily belong on the battlefield. Nevertheless, this is another one of those examples of quintessential Decepticon Targetmasters that fans very fondly remember, and for that reason, easy enough, these guys take the number 2 slot, and that only leaves us with 1. And so we reach number 1, and number 1 by and far took the most votes, and I kind of understand why. Again, this is one of those classic duos, classic partners and pairings that went together from the G1 era, and they didn't quite get along, kind of like an odd couple, because on one hand, you had the absolute crazy, out-of-control nut job known as Trigger Happy, but on the other hand, you had the strategist and the brother-in-law of Lord Zarek himself, Blowpipe. Blowpipe strategizes plans for combat. Trigger Happy is just, let's go in guns blazing, man. Again, this is one of those relationships that I think had the potential to be something really special going forward in a full season 4. And I think, again, in Japan it may have had more kind of backstory to it. And maybe in the comics as well. Nevertheless, in the modern era, in terms of the Decepticons, Blowpipe and Trigger Happy really sort of kicked things off with Titan's Return. And we said, hey, we're finally getting Targetmasters. And then when we got Wave 1 and Siege of the partners, one of the first ones we got was Blowpipe. So this guy, in terms of being an update, is not only one who was overdue, and I'm glad to have, but it's one that was done very well. And it's one of the first ones that in the modern era we finally actually completed. I love both Blowpipe and Trigger Happy. I think it's a fantastic duo, and I totally support it being number 1. And there we have it once again. We've gone from 10 to 1. And we had votes roll in for everyone from Artfire to Voss got a vote, to who else got a couple of votes? Quake got a few votes, and his partners, Heater and Tip Top, I think that's their names. Needlenose and his partners got a couple of votes as well. And one more, just for interest's sake here, Pterodactyl also got a vote. It was a fun ride. It was interesting to see some of the names come up, ones that I never would have thought of. But I'm kind of okay with how things panned out on the actual list itself. I think I would have personally liked to have seen Cup make it. But that's just me. Let me know what you think. Did your favorites make the list or not? I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you if you're in a position, man, to help the channel to grow. There's a donate link in the description. You can check us out on Patreon, see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course, hit the join button right here on YouTube. While you're at it, man, hit the subscribe button. Stick around, have some fun with us. Don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single day, man, you do make a difference. And I look forward, baby, to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way, baby, right here, inside the videos.